She wrote in and asked how one can live out the St. Louis de Montfort's consecration to Jesus through Mary on a daily basis. What are some practical things that someone could be doing each day to live out this consecration?
Well, the book True Devotion to Mary is a very beautiful book by St. Louis Grillon de Montfort. He wrote beautifully about Our Blessed Lady. And I'm sure there's a lot of very good advice in that book as one prepares for that consecration. They can get a lot of good ideas. They meditate on it, and they'll be inspired to live out that consecration day by day. Of course, the Church tells us that we are to consecrate ourselves to Our Lady as Catholics just by the very fact that we are born of the Church, of the baptismal font. We become children of Mary, and we should be devoted to Our Lady by praying the daily rosary, by wearing the scapular, the brown scapular of Our Lady of Mount Carmel. Those are things that we should do every single day. We make the morning offering each day, and we offer these things to our Lord, the various vicissitudes of the day, our prayers, works, joys, and sufferings. We offer to our Lord at the beginning. And it's a good idea to offer them through the hands of Mary. If we offer these things to our Lord, that's very pleasing to our Lord. But if we offer them specifically through the hands of Our Lady and ask her to accompany us to our Lord and present them on our behalf, they have a special mark on them. Our Lady gives everything an aura of special holiness and love. So we can make that act of the morning offering through Our Lady's Immaculate Heart to our Lord's Sacred Heart. And that's something we can do each day of our lives. We begin the day by, therefore, offering through Our Lady. And we should remember that periodically during the day. You know, praying the Memorare periodically during the day, even as a novena. A series of 9 of anything can be considered a novena. Offering a novena of Memoraries each day, every hour in the hour for 9 hours, we can offer that for some very special intention, right? We can also pray the little office of Our Blessed Lady. The little office of Our Blessed Mother is accessible to everyone. It doesn't take that long, actually, but it's a daily remembrance of Our Lady and an act of thanksgiving to God for providing this great gift of Our Lady. It's kind of an answer we give to our Lord on the cross, giving Our Lady to St. John, and through St. John to all of us, all who would be faithful disciples of our Lord. And so we can honor Our Lady by praying that divine office of our Blessed Mother. It's also a very good idea to get into the habit of doing something during the day, each and every day, that we're doing specifically for the love of Our Lady. It's something we should remember as we're, for example, driving down the road and somebody is driving irresponsibly. Somebody might even, we feel, slight us or insult us or however by the way they're driving. Or, you know, even the supermarket, wherever we go these days, there are contradictions. And if we just make it a point that, well, I'm not going to let this day pass without offering at least one act of patience in honor of Our Blessed Lady and her act of patience. Because, you know, you study the life of Our Lady, you find that virtually everything she did was an act of obedience, an act of patience, an act of love, all of them together, continually rising from her Immaculate Heart to God in heaven. And so if we will unite those 3 things as an act of obedience to God, accepting what He sends, and an act of humility and an act of patience and love, if we combine all of those and be sure that every day we're going to do something unique, you know, if we make that offering to God, He will point out to us as we go through the day. God Himself will point out to us what it is He's asking us to do. He can easily point that out to us through the agency of our guardian angel. So that if you make that act, that intentional act of offering something in union with the Immaculate Heart of Mary, and her humility and her patience and her obedience and her love, then you can be sure that God is going to remind you, is going to point out to you each day, okay, this is what I want from you. Maybe somebody cuts you off in line at the supermarket. Maybe somebody cuts you off in traffic, right? Who knows what? Maybe you drop something. Go bend down and pick it up. Maybe you dropped it and it rolled under the chair, you know. Things like that we find very aggravating. But don't be surprised if you do tell our Lord that, Lord, in honor of Mary and in thanksgiving for your giving Mary to me as my mother, your mother as my mother here on earth, I want to offer something specifically for her, and in thanksgiving to you for giving her to me. And so each day I will offer some act of patience. And my memory of this will enable me to be patient at that time, when ordinarily I might tend to lose my temper, and I know that from past experience. My tendencies there are real, and they're there, and they're instant to flare up and lose my temper. But we're going to find then, if we make that offering, that our guardian angels are going to catch that. And when something happens like that, it's going to be right there. That thought is going to be right there, offer this to me. And this is our Lord and Our Lady's way of saying, well, okay, you made the offering. Well, this is what I want for you this day. I want this act of patience about this matter right now on this day. And that's a great reminder. We need those reminders. So there are a lot of ways to honor Our Lady during the day. Of course, I mean, people have the statue of our Blessed Mother in their rooms, light the candles, light a blessed candle in front of the statue, have their devotions there during the day. There's so many, many, many ways they can outwardly honor Our Lady, but it's the interior honoring of Our Lady by practicing her virtues that pleases her so much, because that is what gives glory to her Son, our Lord Jesus Christ. And she wants us to live as she did. What does the gospel say? She pondered in her heart the events of our Lord's life. So she meditated on these things. Our Lady wants us to do the same thing. And she was constantly yielding. Well, she didn't even have to yield because she was God's handmaiden. So when I say she was constantly yielding, it's as though she made a decision. Well, it's my will or God's will. I'm going to give in to God's will. It wasn't that way with Our Lady, because she was so selfless and so humble. It was all about God's will all the time, right? So she didn't have to force herself to give way to God's will. And when we, even if we have to make that choice and force ourselves to make the choice, choosing between our will and God's will, but we make the choice of God's will to be patient, be generous, to be kind, to be thoughtful, and so on, for God's sake, this gives glory to our Lord, pleases Our Lady very much, and she's going to assist us in every way to do that every day of our lives.